Hello. Today we will cover sources of power. Power is something we all seem to know when we see it, but we have trouble defining power. In fact, if you look up the definition of power, you're likely to get very many different definitions depending on the context, situation, or even person being described. In 1959, social psychologist French and Raven found power to be divided into 5 separate types. Or they tried to simplify understanding power by dividing power into these 5 separate forms. The first one we'll cover is knowledge. You've heard the saying, knowledge is power. Having expert knowledge about a subject that others value and do not possess themselves can give someone the upper hand. In work situations, the person with the valued knowledge is a person people respect and often refer to for help. However, this does not mean that expert power alone can help a person move through organizational levels. This is because it usually takes leadership, networking skills, and management experience to advance through the ranks. Possession of expert power is normally a stepping stone to other sources of power, such as legitimate power, which we'll cover in a later slide. For example, a person who holds expert power can be promoted to senior management, thereby giving him or her legitimate power. Referent power comes from a person's perceived attractiveness or worthiness. I want to highlight perceived. I also want to note that by attractive, we don't mean only outer attractive, but inner as well. So perceived attractiveness or worthiness and right to be respected. In other words, referent power is derived from the interpersonal relationships that a person cultivates with others in the organization. People possess reference power when others respect and like them. Referent power arises from charisma, as a charismatic person influences others via admiration, respect, and trust that others have for this person. Referent power is also derived from personal connections that a person has with key people in the organization's hierarchy, such as the CEO, or in other organizations important to that particular area. It's the perception of the personal relationships that the person has that generates their power over others. Legitimate power comes from the belief that this person has formal rights or formal titles, such as manager, owner, parent, teacher, coach. It is also known as positional power. The effectiveness of legitimate power depends on how the person uses it. If a person abuses their authority, they will lose legitimacy and they will become less effective. However, if they use their power judiciously to do good and help people, their power will be enhanced and they will become more effective. This power can be unpredictable and unstable. This is because if you lose the title of the position, the power can disappear with it, especially if that's what you relied on for power. Reward power supports legitimate power and results from a person's ability to compensate another for their compliance. For example, an employee is likely to respond favorably to orders and directions if he or she receives a tangible reward, such as a better job assignment, or, say, a pay raise. Rewards can be intangible as well. So think of verbal approval, encouragement, and praise. These can be just as effective as tangible rewards. Reward power, if used well, greatly motivates others. But if it's applied through favoritism, reward power can greatly demoralize those that work for you or in the organization and diminish their output. Another problem is that you may not have the rewards necessary to have enough power. So let's think about a supervisor who doesn't often have the ability to give salary raises, but does need to motivate employees to do a particular amount or type of work. So when you use up all of your available reward, or the rewards don't have enough value, you lose power or your power weakens. The opposite of reward power is coercive power. This is the ability to punish someone for noncompliance with an order or direction. It complements legitimate power, but in a negative way because compliance is achieved not out of respect, but out of fear. Examples of coercive power include labor union strike threats, denial of promotion or pay raise, and litigation. Coercive power can be problematic, though, and can cause unhealthy behavior. Someone can threaten others or give undesirable schedules or assignments. Extensive use of coercive power is not appropriate. Benfari et al. Added 3 additional sources of power: information, affiliation, and group power. Information power is short-term power. This is when a person knows something that is wanted or needed. So someone may have information about a particular change in the organization, but once that change occurs, they've lost that power of information. This power only holds until the information has reached a wider audience. Affiliation power is when a person gains favor or is connected to someone in power. For example, the family member of a powerful political member. This power can be enhanced if the person works to build other types of power and builds other coalitions. Group power can be very influential and is a shared power. It is shared with the group that is looking to solve or address problems collectively. Think about the sources of power you currently hold and what sources of power you would like to cultivate. Thanks. Until next time.